All right,
wasn't just
let's
loud.
dive into
It
a
was
chilling
mesmerizing,
and very
hypnotic.
real account of how
Swami
a
was
teenager's curiosity can spiral into absolute terror. This isn't just some spooky story. It's a genuine warning, and it all starts with a simple but profoundly dangerous idea.
So those are the words of a young man named Swami. This is his story, his own account of a night that just went into unimaginable territory, a night that kind of proves that some doors are much, much better left unopened.
Okay, so picture this. Swami is just 14 years old living in Bhandara, India. And like a lot of teenagers, he was fascinated by things he couldn't really understand. But for him, that fascination took a much, much darker turn. He became obsessed with Halloween and, you guessed it, the paranormal.
But see, he didn't just want to see a ghost. Oh no, he wanted to capture one. He got this idea in his head, probably from old local folklore, that he could somehow find a way to harness the power of the supernatural. It was this, childish fantasy that was about to have some incredibly adult consequences.
And this was the 4-step plan he cooked up. I mean, it sounds like something straight out of a movie, right? But to Swami, it felt totally possible. He even managed to convince his friend Nitin to join him on this quest. And what sealed the deal was when Nitin's own grandmother basically confirmed that, yeah, these old tales about capturing spirits were true. So, the plan was set. But it wasn't gonna last.
Because on the morning of Halloween, everything changed. Nitin's mother overheard their plan, and she was understandably furious. She absolutely forbade him from going, and this is the crucial part, she confiscated his phone. Just like that, the line of communication was cut, and Swami was on his own.
So what was supposed to be a team effort, safety in numbers, that confidence just evaporated into total isolation. Swami had no idea what happened. He tried calling Nitin, but the phone was just switched off. But was he deterred? Nope. He was not going to let this night go to waste.
His first plan was to bike out to this distant cemetery, but the ride was just too long and he started to get tired. So he improvised. He headed to a nearby river instead. But he found nothing there. Just this unsettling chill in the air and this growing feeling of disappointment.
Just as he was about to give up and head home, he remembered another place, a secluded pond that had a bit of a dark reputation. You know the kind of place, known for strange happenings, a place people generally avoided after dark. For Swami, it sounded perfect.
He got there around 9 p.m. and the scene was just breathtakingly serene. It was so peaceful it actually made him feel kind of foolish for being on this dark mission in the first place. He was literally about to give up, turn around, and head home when he heard it. A splash from the water.
Something large was disturbing the surface, right in the middle of the pond. It wasn't an animal he recognized, and his curiosity, now mixed with a bit of boldness, just took over. He picked up a small stone and tossed it towards the movement. Thud. And the splashing, it got more frantic. He was provoking.
So he grabbed a bigger rock and hurled it with all his strength. It landed right in front of whatever was out there. And then, silence. The splashing stopped completely. And slowly, impossibly, something began to rise out of the dark water. In that moment, his foolish little game became a terrifying reality. It was humanoid, standing on 2 legs with green skin. It was draped in something that looked kind of like a blanket, just covered in pond scum and weeds and shells. And then it opened its mouth and let out a shriek that just echoed across the water.
The sound wasn't just loud, it was mesmerizing, hypnotic. Swami was completely frozen to the spot, trapped by its horrifying gaze as it started to move, steadily, toward him through the water. For 30 agonizing seconds, which must have felt like an eternity, all he could do was stare as this monster closed the distance. And then, something inside him just snapped. He broke out of the trance, scrambled onto his bike, and fled in pure, unfiltered terror. He didn't look back. He just pedaled as fast as his legs could possibly carry him, not stopping until the lights of his own home were in sight.
But you see, the encounter itself was brief. The psychological trauma, though, that was only just beginning. He got home, went to bed, but the next morning he woke up with a raging fever. The horror he saw at the pond, it hadn't stayed there. It had followed him home. His mind, just completely overwhelmed by fear, had started to turn on him. He began seeing the monster everywhere, on the walls of his room, in the reflection of his food, and most terrifying of all,
superimposed over the faces of his own parents.
The constant terror just became unbearable. He finally broke down and confessed everything to his family. At first, they were angry, but seeing the state he was in, they knew this was far more than just a scary story. They got him the professional help he so desperately needed.
It took months of treatment for Swami to even begin to feel normal again, and he shared his story with one simple request: to use it as a warning. It's a lesson he learned at a truly terrible price.
Swami's story is just a chilling reminder, isn't it? When you go looking for monsters in the dark, you might just find one, and the consequences can follow you long, long after you've escaped.